So I want to get your opinion real quick. So obviously, there was a lot going on in Congress today. I just seen a report come in. Maybe you can verify it because you were there. That the War Powers resolution in Congress was defeated, and therefore Donald Trump now has pretty much unbridled power to basically murder people in the Middle East and wherever he wants. Is that right? Am I reading? Is my read on that correct?
Your read is correct. And so today was the vote in the Senate. Tomorrow is the House's version, but because it's already been defeated in the Senate, the House's version is simply more of symbolic than it is functional. But the truth is that, as we were walking through the halls of Congress asking senators, how are you going to, now that you know new information, that this wasn't an imminent attack, that we don't really have an off a strategy on this. We've got nothing clear from the administration. Are you still going to vote yes or no? Like, what's your vote? And we came across, and this is recorded. Medea Benjamin actually has it on her Code Pink website, and I was there. Senator Kevin Kramer, when asked this specific question, he is the Republican, one of the Republican senators from North Dakota. He said that it is our biblical responsibility to Israel to give President Trump unlimited power. His verbatim. It's posted
That
online
is
in the
wild.
interview. The words came out of his mouth. This is not typed up or translated. These words came out of his mouth that it is our biblical responsibility to Israel that Donald Trump have unlimited power. And if you go back and look at old Senator Kramer, he takes $1 million from APAC this year. So the
Imagine that.
dots follow the money. So this is why that's concerning, is that since the military incursion or the conflict in Korea, the military incursion or the conflict in Vietnam, the conflict that when we went to Grenada and Panama, and then the Gulf War, and then all these things were never formal declarations of war. They were always conflicts and operations. So under President Bush, the global war on terror was never classified as a war. We were under this operational executive order. And that's why, if you go back and you look at the operational history of the global war on terror in Iraq and Afghanistan, every 60 days, the operation had a new transition period every 60 days for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you think about that, what's scary about this is that now at the 60-day mark, the president does not have to come back to Congress. So, let's say this was what, 28 Feb. So 28 Feb, March, April. So end of April. The president does not have to come back to Congress to report to say, hey, here's how it's going. Here's why I said we did this. Here's what's actually happening. Should we continue or not? Are we way off track? Do the American people want this or not? So that's what the war powers resolution, if they said yes today, wouldn't automatically stop this conflict. What it would require is that the president and the secretary of defense have to come back to Congress at the 60-day mark to report to say, here's what's going on. I think, regardless of a war powers resolution or not, that's a pretty responsible, prudent step when you're talking about war of this magnitude or any magnitude, when you're sending America's sons and daughters to die. But now, this Congress, the 119th Congress of the United States, has voted clearly that the President of the United States does not have to be held accountable to Congress for war. Why that scares me? It scares me. And here's why. The United States does not have enough interceptor missiles to continue this fight. Every Shaheen drone that Iran launches, if it's their class 1 or series 1, maybe about 20 grand. If it's one of their upgraded that can defeat GPS and doesn't get taken down, like ones that we're seeing that are hitting now, they're Shaheed 3, about 50 grand. In order to take one of those out, whenever you see this Star Wars over the sky with missiles coming in and missiles coming out, that's a $12 million interceptor missile.
Yeah.
It takes 2 to 3 to take out one Shaheed drone. Do the math. We don't have enough of them. We can't make any more of them fast enough. And Iran has 80,000 of those in stock. They can pump out 300 a day, and that's only their one-way drones. Not to mention, once they deplete our interceptor missile capability, then they start bringing in the big guns. Why waste your good stuff when you know it's going to get interdicted?
Right. And that's the scariest part about this entire thing is, from a lot of experts' calculations, we're only a week or so to where the Gulf states, especially because we've moved so many assets out of the Gulf states to protect Israel, they're now sitting ducks. They're going to get hammered,
Yes,
which means our military bases there with our troops are now sitting ducks. They're going to get hammered. They're already being hammered in places like Bahrain. I think they've had like 6 or 7 direct hits on the Fifth Fleet there. What happens when you know Iran really starts to inflict heavy casualties on the United States? My biggest worry is you now have an unhinged, unchecked president with the ability to hit the button for a nuclear weapon. My biggest fear is that they're going to make a calculated decision that they can hit Tehran. The nuclear fallout will be minimum because it's so mountainous that it'll absorb most of the radiation, and they nuke 1 million people.
that's one of the aspects in all this that really scares me, is because when when Tel Aviv and Beersheba and Ashkelon and Ashdod and Haifa continue to get pounded and they run out of interceptors, and then it's open country, and then the real big ones start coming in, and then the American bases and the U.S. assets, because we don't have the ability to intercept or interdict against hypersonics. And we don't have enough missiles to take out all of their launchers or missiles that they have in stock. The math doesn't work in our favor. So then what? If I'm going up against an enemy and I expend all of my bullets and they still have bullets, well, all I have left then is to go to grenades, right? So in that scenario, once all the missiles and the conventional is gone and depleted, and you're still at risk because they still possess hypersonics or Fatah 3s and 4s that they haven't even started using yet, then what do? Well, Israel doesn't have many options. And that's what I'm afraid of, because Israel will use a nuclear weapon. We already know that they are willing to. We know that they have it. We know that they have the ability to employ it. And we surely know that they have the policy in their military doctrine to employ it. So that is very concerning, because that will absolutely change the nature of our world. Because if you're looking at that scenario and you're China, Russia, North Korea, Pakistan, gloves are off. The gloves are off. And that's really scary.
Very much so. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, I hope that we've earned your subscription today. It's free. Just smash it, smash the like button, and comment your support down below in the comment section. Thank you again. See you in the next video.
Thank you.
Stay safe, stay free.